Right, well, it's just on time. So let us begin our second session of the Hayagriva Protecting All Easter Retreat. Just a little bit of an intro before we actually start the practice. This practice that I've collated is based around Rinpoche's daily commitment that he gave when he gave the Hayagriva initiation. And it's the daily commitment as Hayagriva as a protector. So there's no self-generation in there. And it also means that everybody can do it. And in fact, quite a few times when Rinpoche was alive, a few of the centres, Kurukula Centre and the Singapore Centre, Amitabha Buddhist Centre, were asked to accumulate a great number of Hayagriva mantras to remove health obstacles for Lama Zopa Rinpoche. And so the whole community came together to do that. So it's great that all of you are here, whether whatever level of initiation or not. It's practice that all of us can do for all sentient beings, incredibly beneficial. A couple of things to say about Hayagriva. Prayers to the most secret Hayagriva are a swift and powerful means for dispelling diseases and spirit harms, harm from nagas and land spirits, all sorts of illness like cancer, epilepsy, for unusual illnesses where there is no medicine, and illnesses which arise from negative karma and then caused by spirits need a powerful antidote to counteract them. And Rinpoche has said that there are more and more illnesses like this in modern days because we're harming the environment more and more. So there's much more naga harm. A Hayagriva is both a protector and also highest yoga tantra yidam. Appears in union with the wisdom mother, and Hayagriva is the all-important Heruka of Dharma speech. His consort, the wisdom mother, equally important, the queen of the Dakinis herself, Vajrayogini, usually appearing as Vajra Varahi, sometimes with a sow's head, a pig's head, to represent completely overcoming ignorance. But in this case, it's with the hair black like gloom to represent that. Hayagriva as Amitabha is a beautiful ruby red, representing not only fire, burning away the ignorance, but representing the Padma or the lotus family. Although Hayagriva is hulked up and massive with bristling muscles and gigantic form, and regardless of fangs and fiery hair, he is very beautiful in the ferociously masculine sense. Vajrayogini or Vajravarahi is, as always, sensuous and stunningly beautiful, but with a slightly wrathful face. This is all from the article from Buddha Weekly. They also say the brave practitioner who meditates on this monstrously beautiful emanation can overcome obstacles quickly and understand Hayagriva's cry of wisdom dharma. Hayagriva is also famous for very effective healing practices. With all of our, at the beginning of all of our practices, an acknowledgement of country seeking to repay the kindness of all sentient beings, of all of our mother sentient beings, including the custodians of the land on which Langri Tangpa Centre resides, the Jagera and Turrbal peoples. Paying our respects to elders past, present and emerging. When we recite the calling the Guru from afar, often when we first think of our Guru is is the person who really moved us, who moved our heart, and who changed our life, and who we have this incredible relationship with, the spiritual friend. So not just a best friend, but the very best friend that can lead us out of samsara and into the blissful state of nirvana or enlightenment. And often our very first taste of that is the guru who moved our heart. And so that's how we tend to leave it, because we are dominated by our ordinary vision. It's a very good place to start. But as we meditate on Guru Yoga, then actually who the guru really is great Guru Vajradhara. So we ourselves, when we call the guru from afar, it is actually us reconnecting with the external guru, with the Sambhogakaya aspect of the guru, and with the ultimate guru, the clear light nature of our mind. That is no different from the mind of the great Vajradhara. This prayer also is a way of adjusting our motivation to make it not just heartfelt, but a Dharma motivation. So on behalf of all the sentient beings who we are doing this practice for, we can think that we are leading this great multitude of sentient beings, all those close to us, all the humans, all the animals, all the spirits, the hell beings, and even all the distracted gods and the blissful gods. We're leading all of them. We are the great connector with the Guru. Guru, think of me. Guru, think of me. Guru, think of me. Magnificently glorious Guru, dispelling the darkness of ignorance. Magnificently glorious Guru, revealing the path of liberation. Magnificently glorious Guru, liberating from the waters of samsara. Magnificently glorious Guru, eliminating the sins. Magnificently glorious Guru, the wish-granting jewel, I beseech you, please bless me. Magnificently glorious Guru, please bless me to remember impermanence and death from my heart. Magnificently glorious Guru, please bless me to generate the thought of no need in my mind. Magnificently glorious Guru, please bless me to abide one-pointedly in practice in isolated places. Magnificently glorious Guru, please bless me to not have any hindrances to my practice. Magnificently glorious Guru, please bless me to realize without error the view of the fundamental nature of reality. Magnificently glorious Guru, please bless me so that all bad conditions appear as a support. Magnificently glorious Guru, please bless me to accomplish effortlessly the two works of self and others. Please bless me soon. Please bless me very soon. Please bless me on this very cushion. Please bless me in this very session. May I not give rise to heresy for even a second in regard to the actions of the glorious Guru. May I see whatever actions are done as pure. With this devotion, may I receive the Guru's blessings in my heart. Magnificent and precious root Guru, please abide on the lotus seat at my heart. Guide me with your great kindness and grant me the realizations of your holy body, speech, and mind. I think that by this prayer that the Guru's mind is delighted, and spontaneously from the Guru's heart, an emanation made of light gently comes across space and comes to hover just above the crown of your head, and then melting down through your crown, and this light coming to rest at the level of your heart, incredibly radiant, dissolving your ordinary view and sense of self into the radiance, luminosity of enlightened body, speech, and mind. And you become one with the Guru. And feel there the Guru safely at your heart, the heart of the matter, like a beacon or a lighthouse guiding your entire life and guiding this practice. And so to help integrate this practice and our life, I thought to pause now to deepen our motivation and to connect our motivation from our daily life to the really big picture of becoming enlightened for the benefit of all sentient beings. How do we connect that and not have this artificial disconnect between meditating and life? How do we put the two together? So today's theme is on Hayagriva and hate, or how disharmony shortens the life of the Guru. So generally, hate, there's so much hate speech online. As we talked about yesterday, the internet's increased hate speech, it's magnified it, it's accelerated the distribution of hate speech. And the way to cut through that isn't through more aggression or more hate or bullying, but is through love. It's the only way to change it. Hate can't cut through hate. Also, it's fierce love and compassion. It's not necessarily wisdom that cuts through hate, because in extreme circumstances, when people feel intimidated or frightened, reason no longer works. When people are under duress or stressed, reason no longer works. In fact, sometimes it can only fan the fire. So we need a practice of fierce love and fierce compassion. With all of the hate speech and the expression of hate, and then the momentum of it on a very coarse level, that cuts all those people off from ever learning anything, because it's just reactive. So they're completely cut off from developing, cut off from their own virtue, let alone cut off from a guru, from a teacher. This isn't completely out of our reach, though, because just today I read in the news about a great AFL footballer, Eddie Betts, who suffered years and years of racist abuse. And just last night, his kids were playing in the front yard and someone drove past and just yelled all these racist slurs and abuse at his own kids in their own yard. So you can imagine the normal response to this would just be more aggression and more hate. But he actually posted online inviting whoever did that to come forward and have a chat with him about how much it hurt his kids. I mean, that is such a skillful and amazing response. It's so kind. So now in our post-COVID era, lots of people are feeling battered. They're feeling put upon. We've forgotten how to communicate. We've forgotten that we have an impact on others. And so just like Eddie Betts was saying about inviting for a conversation, we've forgotten to do that. We just go straight to retaliating. Or we might think we're a nice enough person, we're a decent enough person, but actually we can only tell if we are when we're stressed and we discover our baseline. What is our baseline? Do we have a line that we will never cross over? In other words, do we stick to our vows, our refuge vows to not harm others? Do we refrain from harm or refrain from harsh speech? It's always a shock to hear of the ill health of the guru. Of course, we're always grasping at permanence, aren't we? Let alone the shock of when the guru passes away from this life. Who could have imagined Rinpoche passing, even after all those teachings on impermanence? In fact, years ago at Langri Tangpa Centre, one of our directors asked, what happens when Rinpoche passes away? And no one would even talk about it because it was inauspicious to talk about it. But actually that is superstition, isn't it? What actually hastens the demise of the guru or the ill health of the guru is disharmony, and disharmony in the centres or amongst the students. You might think, well, what disharmony? I've never seen any disharmony. I've never actually ever seen anyone yell at anybody at Langri Tangpa Centre. Um, Maybe once someone let something slip a little stronger than usual, uh, but not actually aggressive. One time, me and Jane, one of the previous directors, had a huge debate about where to put the photocopier, and everyone thought we were arguing because it was so vigorous a debate. But actually, we we're just trying to figure things out. And we got the printer room, which was brilliant. But it just shows the problem that we can't even tell the difference in our culture between really enthusiastic debate and arguing, because we're not used to it. We're used to squishing everything down until we break and it comes out in retaliation, rather than having a constructive way to speak, to discuss. So when it comes to speech, I can actually say that in the 27 years that I've been at Langri Tangpa Centre, I've never yelled at anybody. So, of course, what's going on in my mind goes up and down, but it's so important to me that this is a safe space. At some centres, I have heard that people yell at each other. They even swear at each other in meetings. They lose their manners. I think it's very easy for just little retaliations when you're cranky or tired to become normalized. And then it just naturally flows into harsh speech or aggressive speech. And actually, words from a highest yoga tantra point of view are a subtle form. They're in between mind and form. They're subtle. And they actually have a subtle physical form, and they have the power to harm. They have an energy that can harm. And so then if we're yelling or being aggressive in the very place where people are seeking refuge, that's the biggest blow that we can give to those people, but it's the biggest blow that we can give to our guru as well, because the whole purpose of the guru is to help others. Disharmony in a centre, in the centres, clearly shortened the life of Lama Zopa Rinpoche, but it may not have been obvious disharmony, like yelling at each other or bad mouthing behind backs. It could actually have also been the conflict that arises from just having an ordinary view. So, for instance, when we volunteer at a centre, we might just fall into the thought that it's just ordinary volunteering, rather than primarily at the front of our mind, it being a journey with our fellow Dharma brothers and sisters, leading all sentient beings to enlightenment. So there is a danger to think, as we get more stressed and overwhelmed by work, that our purpose is admin, where actually that's not the purpose. That's just one of the things to do to purify, to create merit. The main purpose is leading others to enlightenment. And so a quote from Lama Zopa Rinpoche just in the email a couple of days ago: if you want to make your life really fruitful, really meaningful, the one answer is to practice Lam Rim. Otherwise, your life is spent in hallucination. There are many different levels of hallucination. Your life is spent in distraction, with attachment and anger, but especially with attachment. And like that, your life is spent in hallucination. Even if you're working, even if you have to do a job to make money, your motivation should be to benefit sentient beings, to serve sentient beings. Do you understand? You should be humble and respectful with your body, speech, and mind. You should be kind to everyone, even those who criticize or harm you. You should be kind, polite, and serve others with your body and speech. It makes people so happy when you speak politely to them. With holy objects, you have a mind of devotion. With sentient beings, you should have a mind of compassion. So, especially when we're volunteering or when we're doing any kind of job, housework, going to work, think that it's not the ordinary thing, even though it's the most obvious how it looks. Actually, what we're doing is working for Buddha and for sentient beings. Then it becomes a genuine way to create merit and to purify obstacles. If in the course of our work or our volunteering we harm others even in a small way, then we're really going directly against the whole purpose of our gurus, and that sets up friction, which shortens the life of the guru. So the thing is, don't succumb to the tyranny of appearances, the ordinary view. In our degenerate times, as things become more precarious for Dharma centres, more materialistic in general, we need to have a powerful protection against this tyranny of appearances. And lastly, on the very deepest level, whatever kind of hate that we experience from others, whatever difficulties or conflict that we have with others on a deep level, as a practitioner, as a Dharma practitioner, in fact, we ourselves are the causes of that hate and distraction. It's not others. In fact, we are the conditions for their negativity to arise. We're like the trigger for whatever negativities in their mind to arise, just our very presence. Because of our karmic imprints and our karmic debts, we become the trigger for negativities. Our samsaric presence is the trigger, and it brings forth the negativities in others. And so we've got to protect them themselves. It's us who must purify. And then that way, when we become more virtuous, we become a trigger for their virtue, for their good-heartedness, for everything to slow down and us to recognize, oh, a fellow sentient being, just that kindness, just like that footballer. If that footballer can think like that, so can we. So when we think about all of the disharmony and all the way up to really aggressive hate speech online, it might all be very concerning. And we definitely include this in our motivation. But of course, we can't just leave it at that. That becomes the connector. If we leave it at that and just motivate for that, it just becomes a cause of more samsara. What we've got to do, even with genuine care, is not enough. We've got to motivate for liberation and enlightenment. Otherwise, it's not Dharma. So hopefully that has enthused you to really take refuge now with this big purpose and a specific purpose and the goal clearly in mind, and connecting us here now to this goal of enlightenment without a break. So leading all of these sentient beings in refuge and bodhicitta, the reason for us taking refuge. I go for refuge until I am enlightened, to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By my practice of giving and other perfections, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I am enlightened, to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By my practice of giving and other perfections, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By my practice of giving and other perfections, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. The four immeasurables. May all sentient beings have happiness and the causes of happiness. May all sentient beings be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May all sentient beings be inseparable from the happiness that is free from suffering. And may all sentient beings abide in equanimity, free from attachment for friends and hatred for enemies. So especially including all of those who manifest extreme hatred and seeing below that to what's really happening, extreme suffering, extreme ignorance, and extending our motivation to include every single one of those beings too. The seven limb prayer. Reverently, I prostrate with my body, speech, and mind. I present clouds of every type of offering, actual and imagined. I declare all my negative actions accumulated since beginningless time and rejoice in the merit of all holy and ordinary beings. Please remain until the end of cyclic existence and turn the wheel of Dharma for living beings. I dedicate my own and others' merits to the great enlightenment. And offering the mandala. This ground, anointed with perfume, strewn with flowers, adorned with Mount Meru, 4 continents, the sun and the moon. I imagine this as a Buddha field and offer it. May all living beings enjoy this pure land. The objects of my attachment, anger, and ignorance, friends, enemies, strangers, body, and resources. Without any sense of loss, I offer them. Please accept them well and bless me to be spontaneously freed from the 3 poisons. Idam Guru Rana Mandala Kamniyatayami. I think that the Guru Buddha is very pleased with your offering. And light streams from the Buddha's heart to you and all surrounding sentient beings. You're washed clean of the 3 poisons. Your mind is inspired by the enlightened mind. And you arise as the body of the deity or as a body of virtue. The body of virtue, the light body, residing right there within our coarse body. I think that it is this body created by our merit and our virtue that is going to offer this practice. And so to do this, we bless our speech, feeling that there on your tongue, very delicate, refined, and clear, is a syllable R, enlightened speech, the essence of enlightened speech. And it transforms into a moon disk, like a sliver of light on your tongue, the subtle manifestation of your bodhicitta attitude. On top of the moon appears a white syllable Om. This is encircled by the white vowels, the red consonants, and the blue mantra of dependent relation. These 3 mantra garlands are standing upright, made of light, dancing, each letter dancing. Light beams radiate out from the Om and the mantra garlands, hooking back the blessings and power of both mundane and supramundane speech. In the form of these 3 mantras, the 7 sublime precious objects of a king's reign, and the 8 auspicious signs. So all of the auspicious signs and symbols there, also made of light, hover in the space around you like a great flotilla of auspiciousness, and then melt into light and absorb into the mantra garlands. The mantra garlands themselves become extremely bright and powerful. For the Sanskrit vowels, the Ali, white nectar beams flow from the mantra, filling your whole body. Your whole body becomes radiant with white light, and all the negative karmas collected with your body from beginningless rebirths are completely purified. Om a I u ri ri li li a o ang a swaha. Om a I u ri ri li li a o ang a swaha. Om a I u ri ri li li a o ang a swaha. As we recite the consonants, red nectar beams flow from the mantra, filling your whole body, which becomes radiant with blissful red light, and all negative karmas collected with your speech from beginningless rebirths are completely purified. Om ka 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 na, cha 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 na, cha 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 na, cha 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 na, pa 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 ma, yara lava, shaka saha sa swaha. Om ka 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 na, cha 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 na, cha 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 na, cha 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 na, pa 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 ma, yara lava, shaka saha sa swaha. Om ka 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 na, cha 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 na, cha 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 na, cha 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 na, pa 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 ma, yara lava, shaka saha sa swaha. The heart mantra of dependent relation. As we recite, blue nectar beams flow down from the mantra, filling your whole body. All negative karmas collected with your mind from beginningless rebirths are completely purified. Om ye dhamma hetu prabhava, hetin tekan tatagato, hayavada tekan sayo, nirodha, evam vadi maha shramanaye swaha. Om ye dhamma hetu prabhava, hetin tekan tatagato, hayavada tekan sayo, nirodha, evam vadi maha shramanaye swaha. Om ye dhamma hetu prabhava, hetin tekan tatagato, hayavada tekan sayo, nirodha, evam vadi maha shramanaye swaha. Then the heart mantra of dependent relation grows very, very bright, absorbs into blue light that is drawn into the red consonants. These melt into light, and the light is absorbed into the white vowels, which also melt and are drawn into the Om. The Om dissolves into the moon cushion, and that transforms into a syllable Ah on your tongue, which melts into pink nectar, absorbing into your tongue, which becomes of the nature of a Vajra. Your tongue becomes very heavy and strong, as indestructible as a Vajra, and think, I have perfected my speech. The speech dedication. May my tongue have all the courage of the ones gone to bliss. By the power of my glorious words, may all sentient beings be subdued. May the meanings of whatever words I say be accomplished instantly. Beginning the main practice, meditating on emptiness, the ultimate nature of reality, no difference between oneself, the deity, the practice, all in one essence of emptiness. And out of this, for the benefit of sentient beings, arises a red tree and a mum. And these spontaneously transform into the holy body of Hayagriva, the lotus great controller. Hayagriva has 3 faces, right white, left green, and center red-black. On the crown is a green horse head with a white blaze, and a red mane with a yellow cloth hanging from it, whinnying with a shrill sound toward the 10 directions. The faces all have 3 round, bloodshot eyes. Brows and beards are yellow, shining like lightning. The hair is matted, dark brown like chocolate and beautified by standing upright. Hayagriva has 6 arms. The first right hand holds a lotus and the left holds a skull filled with blood. These arms embrace the mother of great bliss. The remaining 2 right hands hold an iron hook and a club. The remaining 2 left hands hold a lasso and a blazing sword. The upper part of the holy body wears a human skin and a wet elephant hide. The lower part of the holy body is adorned with a tiger skin skirt. The dried skull head ornament is topped with jewels. The holy body is adorned with bone ornaments, a triple garland each of 50 human heads, dried, wet, and withered, jewels, and the 4 types of snakes. The holy body is smeared with fingerprints of fat drops of blood and heaps of human ashes. Having the Garuda wings of complete victory over the 3 realms. Having 4 legs and standing with the right legs bent in the expression of the 9-fold dancing posture. Entwining the right side of the Lord is the secret mother, the lotus dancing one. The color of her holy body is blue-black, with 1 face and 2 arms, 3 eyes agape, and the mouth snarling with bared fangs. The hair, matted and thick, is black like the gloom of darkness. The right hand holding a heart embraces the Father. The left hand holding a great conch shell, a skull filled with an ocean of blood, makes offering to the mouth of the great magnificent Lord. In this way, visualize clearly the Lord, Father, Mother. And now to strengthen our visualization, the invocation. If there is any last shred of doubt that Hayagriva is really here, we invoke Hayagriva from the Pure Lands to come and inhabit our visualization and think Hayagriva is really here, whether we can see with our eyes, whether we can see with our mind. The invocation. Savior of all sentient beings, without exception, divine destroyer of the unbearable hordes of Maras and their forces, perfect knower of all things without exception, Bhagavan, together with your retinue, please come here. The praise at the beginning of the mantra recitation. Your pure triple faces are adorned with skull ornaments of 5 Buddha families. 6 limbs are holding weapons in the mudra of accomplishing cities. In the aspect of great bliss, with highly raised, dignified horse head, I pay supplication to you, the holy and powerful deity. The mantra, Hri Vajra Kroda Hayagriva Hulu Hulu Hum Pe. Hri is Hayagriva himself, the same seed syllable as Amitabha and Chandrazik, symbolic of the awesome power of sound, words, mantras, syllables, speech. It's at the beginning of the mantra for invocation. Wisdom is also the syllable of Hri, the heart of Buddhahood. Vajrakroda, the wrathful Vajra. Hayagriva, the horse-faced or horse-necked one. Hulu hulu means strive, strive. Hum, the great bliss from the nature of the 5 wisdoms, in which the value is demonstrated by the completeness of those 5 wisdoms. And pay, cutting down or breaking all the unfavorable conditions of mental construction in order to perceive the attributes of the 5 wisdoms. For the mantra recitation, from Guru Hayagriva's heart, red beams of light are emitted and completely burn all the inner enemies, the wrong conceptions of true existence, the self-cherishing thought, all obscurations and negative imprints, and even the imprints of all other sentient beings. Think also that all diseases and spirit harms of oneself and all sentient beings are burned completely. Hri Vajra Kroda Hayagriva Hulu Hulu Hum Pem. 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 Hri Vajra Hulu Hulu Hum Pem. So in particular, as we recite the mantra, the blissful red beams of light, completely burning all the inner enemies, the enemy of hatred within our own heart that serves as a mirror or a trigger for everybody else's hatred. So this is completely destroyed in the blissful, radiant red. Think that all negative karmas associated with hatred in the heart, all of those karmic hangovers, are completely eliminated in the blissful red light. Hri Vajra Kroda Hayagriva Hulu Hulu Hum Pe. Hri Vajra Kroda Hayagriva Hulu Hulu. And as we recite the mantra, we can contemplate the profound meaning of the aspect of Hayagriva. As Hayagriva offers help, his body reflects a radiant brilliance. Hayagriva's three heads represent the three doors: body, speech, and mind. By completing the entire six perfections, the paramitas, the six-armed one subdues the suffering of the six causes, the six realms of samsara. Hayagriva has three faces: the green face on the right, who is smiling greatly, a white face on the left, who is showing extreme covetousness, and a red face in the center. Each of Hayagriva's faces comprise of three eyes, each seeing the three times, past, present, and future. All of his eyes are round and opened widely with wrathful energy. His mouth is opened with four fangs, which destroy the four evil maras: the mara of death, the mara of the aggregates, the container of suffering, the mara of disturbing emotions, the afflictions, and the mara of the deva's sun, attachment to worldly activities and the ordinary view. The elephant hide clothing shows victory over narrow-mindedness. The human skin clothing is symbolic of impermanence. And the tiger skin cassock, the lower part of a monk's robe, transformation of anger into wisdom and insight. as the red beams are continuously emitted, flowing from Hayagriva's heart. They completely purify every time that we've retaliated with our speech, all of our negative karmas that have resulted in destructive or difficult relationships now. Dissolve the self-cherishing thought that opens the door to all the problems. This is completely burnt away in this blissful, radiant red. Feel completely enveloped by Hayagriva's fierce care, concern, compassion. The Haruka wings folding over you and protecting you from all those negativities. And feel that we are also purified of the negative inner dialogue, the internal hate speech, the getting stuck and ruminating, the framing things always in ordinary samsaric terms, including self-deprecation, how we forget that the nature of our mind is the same nature as the mind of Hayagriva. All those disconnections and barriers, those inner obstacles, are burnt away in the blissful, radiant red light. Your mind is released from the ordinary view. And also think that as the light continues to flow into you and all the surrounding sentient beings, that it burns away all of the broken samaya, the broken commitments with the guru, the disparaging of the guru, belittling or being condescending, minimizing their advice or ignoring it. Any of our clumsy arrogance of a colonizer, somehow thinking that we in the West are smarter. burning away the double standard that creeps in of daily life and Dharma advice being not quite practical. All of this completely burned away in the radiant red light, just disappearing into flames of emptiness, gone. Hri Vajrakrota Hayagriva Hulu Hulu Humpe. 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 Pausing for a moment to rest in that red radiance. Feeling how all obscurations are ceased, the great relief and freedom within your mind, and that all realizations are generated. Your speech becomes harmonious so that people listen to you and can benefit from the Dharma. Feel the power of your speech. Your speech attains the melodiousness of a Buddha's speech. Polite and kind, specific and clear, delightful to the ears. Your mind freed of those inner obstacles of the framing of inner speech, freed of bamboozlement, gaslighting. Your perfect speech can lead you to a conceptual perception of reality and then a direct perception of reality. All the realizations generated in your mind. And then we can spend a moment on the short healing practice over the page, halfway down page 6. Rinpoche says when you practice healing on someone in pain, one method is to visualize the moon syllable Om on your hand. White in color, its nature is light, emptiness. Reciting the mantra while pressing your hand on the painful area. So if those beings are not there, right there in the room with you, then distance healing. Hri Vajrakrota Hayagriva Hulu Hulu Humpe. 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 Hri Vajrakrota Hayagriva Hulu Hulu. And as you recite the mantra for the healing, blissful, pacifying white light completely fills their body. All the negative karma accumulated physically is purified and dissolved. Their body becomes radiant in the nature of light, emptiness, and freed of illness and pain. Kri Vajra Kroda Hayagriva Hulu Hulu Hum Pe. And to stabilize the blessing of the mantra recitation, once more we recite the syllables to strengthen our enlightened speech. Om a I I u ri ri li li a o ang a swaha. Om kaka gaga na cha 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 na cha 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 na cha 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 na pa 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 ma yara lava shaka saha sa swaha. Om ya dhamma hetu prabhava hetan tekan tatagato hayavada tekan sayo niroda evam vadi maha shramanaye swaha. And the 100-syllable mantra, again to purify any mistakes in the mantra recitation and to stabilize the blessings. So recite this once through. Om Pema Shri Heruka Samaya Manupalaya Pema Shri Heruka Tenupatita Trido Me Bhava Sutokayo Me Bhava Supokayo Me Bhava Anurato Me Bhava Sava Siddhi Me Prayata Sava Kama Tutame Chidam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Pema Shri Heruka Mame Muncha Pema Shri Heruko Baba Maha Samaya Sapa Ahom He. This session will do the praise at the bottom of page 7 from the praise from the FPMT Long Sadhana. Hri, although not moving from the sphere of clear light, you are the manifestation of great bliss, the state of unification, displaying various emanation bodies. I prostrate to the magnificent supreme stallion. Although completely free from all mental fabrications, you adopt the mode of an illusory woman to subdue by desire those who have desire. I prostrate to the wrathful mother. Transformation of the contaminated aggregates is the wisdom holy body, which is completely purified of delusions. You, the 4 wrathful conquerors, fully perform the 4 activities. To you I prostrate. You are purified of eternalism, nihilism, and a naturally existing I. You are the essence of the 4 means of drawing, giving, speaking sweetly, working for others, and practicing what you teach. And the essence of immeasurable thought, hooking, entering, binding, and controlling. To you, the ladies of the 4 doors, I prostrate. In order to subdue all vicious beings, you are extremely wrathful, overwhelming, and irresistible, and well aligned like a blazing garland. I prostrate to all those who abide by the order, the protectors. Having the completely purified 12 related dependent limbs and the nature of the 37 dharmas leading in the direction of enlightenment, essence of great bliss, well completed, to that unfathomable mansion I prostrate. Ground, fence, and tent of non-dual wisdom Vajra, having blazing heaps of wisdom fire, to that protecting wheel I prostrate. By this virtue of offering praises to you, may I completely eliminate the obstacles of the path. May I fully complete the 2 accumulations in this life and attain enlightenment, the essence of the 4 holy bodies. Blessing the tea and the toma. Ram A, from the heart syllable Hri, Rum emanates. From this, flames in the nature of transcendental wisdom also emanate. Is transformed into heaps of unborn blazing light, purifying all the stains of the collected offering and increasing them. Rum Yum come out of the non-objectified state of emptiness. From the heart emanates fire, wind, and water that burn, dispel, and wash away all faults of the offering substances. In all the qualified and expansive, bliss-supporting vessels, offerings of water, sense enjoyments, and music are gathered like clouds. The wisdom nectar of choicest medicines blaze and swirl. Heaps of traumas of flesh, blood, bones emanate sensory enjoyments. The ocean of Rakta, blood, is stirred by waves. Everything is mixed inseparably with the transcendental wisdom substances and becomes an uncontaminated, inexhaustible, bliss-giving treasury. Om Ahom, Om Ahom, Om Ahom. The tea offering to Hayagriva. Hayagriva, the nine-gated king, fierce and majestic, you have come forth from the heart of Amitabha to defeat the evil designs of humans and non-human spirits. I sing praises to you and your host of deities who vanquish all foes of the Dharma and protect the practitioners. I sing praises to you all. Om Ahom, 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 Om Ahom. Om Ahum, Om Ahum, Om Ahum, Om Ahum, Om Ahum, Om Ahum, Om Ahum. Hri, O fierce Vajra, born from the syllable Hri, you, Hayagriva, cast your fierce gaze upon the troublemakers. I prostrate to you, who controls the three realms through the resounding voice of Hulu Hulu Hum Pe. Oma hum, 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 oma hum. Oma hum, oma hum, oma hum, oma hum. Oma hum, oma hum, oma hum. I pray that ye partake of the ritual cakes and sacred offerings, multiply your fourfold actions of peace, increase, power, and wrath, increasing the life, good health, merit, glory, and wealth of myself and my retinue, and those your yogis, teachers, and disciples. Oma hum, oma hum, oma hum, ah hum, oma hum, oma hum, oma hum, oma hum. Oma hum, oma hum, ah. I think that our offerings are very joyously received. I think that Hayagriva promises to help you in all your Dharma endeavors. His mind is greatly moved and delighted by our offering so that realizations will quickly come. So now if you have a beverage, we can offer the tea, and then over tea, we can do our group dedications or personal dedications. So blessing the tea or the beverage, whatever, even a sparkling glass of water. Om Ahom, Om Ahom, Om Ahom. The Guru is Buddha, the Guru is Dharma, the Guru is Sangha also. Guru is the creator of all happiness. To all Gurus, I make this offering. The Supreme Teacher, the precious Buddha, the Supreme Refuge, the precious Dharma, the Supreme Guides, the precious Sangha. To the three rare sublime ones, the objects of refuge, I make this offering. May we and those around us in all our lives never be separated from the three rare sublime ones, continuously make offerings to the three rare sublime ones, and receive the blessings of the three rare sublime ones. And so with that, we can have our personal dedications, the ones that are not spoken out loud, but what's in our heart, Hayagriva can hear. We can continue now with the rest of the dedications, the dedication prayers. Due to this merit, may I and all sentient beings be guided by the Lotus Victorious One, Hayagriva, as our direct virtuous friend, and quickly achieve the Lotus Victorious One's enlightenment. Without separating from the complete path of the Lotus Victorious One, even for 1 second, may I lead all sentient beings to the enlightenment of the Lotus Victorious One. I think that by speaking this dedication, it becomes powerful. Our speech has been blessed by this practice. Now we are speaking it out loud. We're holding this in our mind. So may this become the trajectory of all of this merit and virtue created in this practice. The general dedication prayers. Due to this virtue, may I quickly become a Guru Buddha and lead all transmigratory beings without exception into that state. May the supreme jewel of bodhicitta, not yet born, arise and grow. May that which has arisen not decline, but increase forevermore. And on page 12, the more dedications, number 2. Due to all the merits of the 3 times collected by me, all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas and all sentient beings, may I, the members of my family, all the students and benefactors of the FPMT, and all the rest of the sentient beings, meet only perfectly qualified Mahayana gurus in all our future lifetimes. From our side, may we see them only as enlightened beings. May we do only actions most pleasing to the holy minds of the virtuous friends. May we be able to fulfill all their holy wishes immediately. So dedicating in particular with our theme today, again, with this specific dedication, all of this momentum going in that direction. And offering our practice for the health and long life of all of our gurus, especially His Holiness the Dalai Lama. The wish-granting, wish-fulfilling jewel, source of every single benefit and happiness in this world, to the incomparably kind Tenzin Gyatso, I beseech, may all your holy wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. For the swift return of Lama Zopa Rinpoche, in holding and spreading the Muni's precious and complete teachings through explanation and practice, you wore the armor of patience that is never discouraged. Incomparable, venerable Guru, to you I make this request. And the long life prayer for all of our gurus. May my venerable lamas' life be firm, their white divine actions spread in 10 directions. May the torch of the teachings of Losang always remain, dispelling the darkness of all beings in the 3 realms. And we end with the Miksema that we can recite in the English 3 times through. Avalokiteshvara, great treasure of non-objectifying compassion, Manjushri, master of stainless wisdom, Vajrapani, destroyer of the entire host of Maras, Tsongkhapa, crown jewel of the sages of the land of snow, Trilosatrapa, at your feet I make request. Avalokiteshvara, great treasure of non-objectifying compassion, Manjushri, master of stainless wisdom, Vajrapani, destroyer of the entire host of Maras, Tsongkhapa, crown jewel of the sages of the land of snow, Trilosatrapa, at your feet I make request. Avalokiteshvara, great treasure of non-objectifying compassion, Manjushri, master of stainless wisdom, Vajrapani, destroyer of the entire host of Maras, Tsongkhapa, crown jewel of the sages of the land of snow, Tolosa Drapa, at your feet I make requests. I think that gently falling down around you and onto all of the holy objects in the room where you are, the gompa where you are, a rain of flowers, a spontaneous manifestation of your virtue. Thank you very much, everyone, for coming. That completes our second session of our Easter retreat, and I hope to see you again for the next session and the next enticing theme. Over and out.